out, and then we're going to be working on some leafy sorts of nails today. I got my greens in array. Give me just a couple seconds. Let's go here. And then I'm also going to text my mom because she doesn't have an account on Twitch and doesn't know when I'm being streaming, but she asked me to let her know, so. And then I'm gonna get my reference picture. One of the things that I was doing, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Something like that, when I did the floral nails. I did a bunch of testing before I painted my nails. Obviously you can see the leafiness that's going on there. But I ended up not using all of the colors for the leaves that I had been thinking of using because I needed room for the flowers as well. And the theme was floral, so I couldn't just do the leaves like I kind of wanted to. So I think that's what we're going to do today, but I'm going to use a different base color. I'm probably going to use this Crelly. It's got little itty bitty teeny tiny pink and white and green micro glitter. It's called Urban Garden. By Pep Nail Vibes, which is a company that's actually run by the same person who runs Society Wit. And so I have some Society Wit colors actually also that I'm using for my greens. So even though they're different brands, they come from the same gal. So let me make sure that I get my little reference picture up. While I was painting all those practice leaves, I was looking at some leaf watercolor little studies that had been done. Let me scroll back a little bit and find it. It was, I think, Aquarelle is the name of the person on Instagram that I saw this from. Yeah. It's not spelled the way you'd expect it to be. Aquarryl. You can't see that. That's not in focus. But there's the leaves that I was referencing to add some variety to the leaf shapes while I was painting and practicing. And I ended up going with one that was kind of like this, one that was kind of like that. Oops. I wanted to include one that was more like this, but I didn't have enough room. I wanted to include one that was a little bit more like that, but I didn't have room. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I got my little reference up. And first thing, I already have my base coat on. I did all my cuticle prep last night while I was sitting around waiting for my hair to dry. So we're ready to go into the base color. So let's get to painting. I think I'm going to adjust my focus here. Just a second. Hang on. I'm pulling my whole camera instead of just the one bit. So I want to adjust my camera placement. That made everything too bright for some reason. Yeah, that's better, but I'm going to change the focus for it. So it's, while I'm painting, it's staying in focus. Okay. That looks all right. This is a Crelly, so it is going to take, and it's a relatively sheer Crelly, so it's going to take, I think, probably 3 coats to get full opacity. I might stop at 2 because I'm going to be doing leaves over top, and it could just have a kind of a sheer base look. We'll see. And I'm going to cap the tip on my first coat. With Crellies, sometimes it's hard to cap the tip without getting glitter weirdly on the end, so you gotta kind of wipe your brush off to do that. Why are you turning off the lights?
Turn on lights.
No, I had them on so that I have better light. Is it reflective on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You can turn them on. Oop, I got a big old fuzzy on there. Look at that. Goodbye, fuzzy. She has a nice wide brush on here, which I do like. But you have to, if it's not a rounded wide brush, you have to kind of be careful around the cuticle area. But I like the way it helps to distribute the glitter. It helps to keep it from getting all glommed up on one part of the nail. I might be okay with only 2 of this. Polish, we'll see. This polish has such small glitters that capping the tip with the glitter isn't as difficult as it would be in something that had larger glitters, like O-Splat, right, from KB Shimmer. Look, that one has such large glitters. You just kind of have to wipe the big glitters off before you cap the tip, otherwise they try to go all wonky sideways. This wants to be lower. I want to hold my hand here, so that's what I'm going to do. But that means I need to readjust the focus. There. I'm not sure why that particular angle makes the light want to be overexposed. But it apparently does. This color is really cool. I've been wanting to try it for a couple of months now, actually. But I didn't have any designs for the 52-week challenge that really particularly called to it more than other colors that I was planning on using, so I haven't yet. And again, being careful around the cuticle area. Okay. That's a good first coat. I really would like to change the light there. There. You can see it's very speckly. It's mostly white with a little bit of green and a little bit of pink. And I've got not enough polish there. I gotta go back and get a little bit more for this side. There. I did a little bit of maintenance filing last night as well, because as if you were here last week, you're aware that this nail and this nail were slightly shorter than the rest when I filed them down, and so I filed the rest to match this week so they're all even again. And my brain feels better. My brain feels better about it. Got a bunch of glitter stuck on there. Let me get my cleanup brush and a little bit of acetone and get rid of them because they're gonna bug me. I mean, I am gonna do cleanup later, but I don't like the little glitter catching the light when it's not covered by the polish around it. It is a little irritating. I love you. And I was thinking about greens to use. I was trying to get a range of green tones. You know, when I was in a watercolor class back in high school, I took a watercolor class at the local community college, and the instructor had a whole assignment of trying to use as many different greens as you can in a piece where they're distinct greens, not just value differences, but like the shade of green is different and how that can add depth to your natural or leafy or foresty paintings, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And so that's what I was trying to do with my color selection for this, was to try to find as many of my greens that are different in tone from one another as possible. And by having a multitude of them together, that then, because of the sheer number and then paired with the variety, it creates a sense of intentionality and unity, even though they don't necessarily belong in the same color tone family to begin with. They still feel like they belong together because it's just obvious that it's just all green. So we'll see. I missed some up there at the top. I'm gonna go back in with just the corner of the brush and fill that in a little bit. There we go. Don't want to brush down the whole nail too much and disrupt the placement of the glitters that I'm already liking where they are. That focus still doesn't feel focused there. I focused it. And it should be right there. I'm not sure. There's no smudge or anything. Okay. Alright, let's adjust this so it's not quite so bright hot white. There. Maybe that won't reflect quite so much. I'm back to using the regular Glisten Glow base coat this week. They both wore the same, the Moonshine Manny base coat and the Glisten Glow base coat, which I was very happy with. But the Glisten Glow base coat has a slightly more leveling property. It's a little slightly thicker formula that levels a little bit more over the nail and creates some ridge filling sorts of properties that the Moonshine Manny one doesn't seem to do. So if I was doing like a manicure that I knew was going to end up with a texture and would need to be smoothed with several layers of top coat, I probably will use the Moonshine Manny one because the top coat can do the leveling and the smoothing. rather than the base coat. But I still think the Glisten Glow one is my favorite. Okay, so then back to nail 1. Is that dry enough for a second coat? Yes, it is. So let's do that. Getting as close to the cuticle area as I can without hitting the skin, if I can help it. Of course, if I do hit the skin, that's what my little cuticle scoop that I've been using is for. And I'm trying to be careful with this coat to see if I can get it opaque into. Because you can see there, if I stroke too much off the nail, then it's not quite opaque. But I think I'm alright with 2. That's good. I won't have to do as many coats for the base color. Oh, I don't think that was in there. Sorry. You gotta rotate when I switch hands. I just bumped into that other nail. It's a good thing it doesn't have its second coat on it yet. Okay, nail number 2. I love Crellies. They're really cool. I like the way that they give texture, not like touchable texture, but visual texture to your nails. And I think I've said this before, but I don't wear a lot of accessory sorts of things. My nails act as my accessories a lot of the time. So I like having a visual texture there. It adds to the overall whatever of what I'm wearing. Adds interest. I'm feeling like that one might need a little bit right around the cuticle. I might have to go in and add some with a little brush. Just to get the white slightly closer. Right up here. And get a better curve. There. That's better. I'm pleased that this is going so well with just the 2 coats because it's such a sheer looking white base. It's really soft, and the fact that it's able to get to be built up with a careful application on the second coat is nice. Okay. The glitter's a little less dense on that nail for some reason. I might go in and add a little bit. Up here near the cuticle. Well, the middle nail's a little more dense than the index nail, too. I must have, just by the luck of the draw, gotten a little bit more black glitter on that nail. You guys can't really see the colors very well differentiated, but you can see that there's a little bit of a difference in the speckling. This is a color that I'm gonna have to bring up close for you guys to really appreciate the way it looks in person, because the light is not allowing you to see the individual colors of these little speckles properly. Okay. There's that. And there's that. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay, and now on to hand 2. I have a little glitter on the end there. I just am pushing it back into place, so it's not poking off the end of the nail. My sound when I listened back to my last stream was kind of garbly. I'm hoping it's not garbly, but just fuzzy sounding somehow. So I'm hoping that it will sound better today. I don't know what caused it to do that more than the other ones. And I, to be honest, did not research it heavily enough to learn. Hey, Nate. Yes, so far so good. We're going to be doing leafy things today, kind of based on some of the testing I did for those floral nails that I did the other day. I had some other greens that I had wanted to use that I didn't have room on my nail for with the flowers. So we're going to be doing something that's more just leaves with multiple tones of green. So we've got the greens that I used last time. Where's the other green that I used last time? Oh, I knew I had forgotten to grab one. There it is. And then some of the other more blue-toned greens are right over here. And we're going to be using them too. We're going to be doing something kind of just leaves. And I had a reference that I was looking at earlier, last time that I was thinking about these leaves, 2 weeks ago or whatever. And, you know, I've just kind of been referencing the leaf shapes. Oops, excuse me, that's a little bit bright. From this AQUARRYL aquarelle watercolorist I follow on Instagram. She had a nice variety of leaves on that post for me to kind of not just make them all the same. So we're going to be doing that. And this base color is a nice sort of a soft background. Can you see the colors of the flecks in the polish that I'm putting on right now? Can you see the colors? No, because it's so washed out. It's a white base with green and pink. Let me get, I'm sorry about the light being so bright at this angle. I don't know why it's trying to do that. Let me finish this nail and then I will get it up closer so you can see it. And also get a drink. And get rid of the polish that got on the skin while it's still wet. Makes it easier for the cleanup later. There's not as much to smear around. And actually, I'm gonna get that little corner with a little brush because I took too much off. There. That's better. Okay, let's do this really quick. And then this, so you can see the colors better. Okay, so it's got a white background, and then it's got little green and pink and black and white fleckles in it. And it's just really soft. It's got a nice sort of a whitish, crellyish feel to it. So that's going to be behind the leaves. Yes, I think it's cool too. Well, let's turn autofocus back off. Okay, so we were right around here. Please let me drag the autofocus, or the focus. There we go. There, you can see it a little bit better farther out because it's not quite so bright right now. I don't know why it's not being quite so bright right now. Hi, Praise. Yes, kind of funfetti, except not rainbow colors. This one would be more like funfetti with the rainbow colors. This is, oh, Splat from KB Shimmer. It's just got a bunch of rainbow glitter, and that is very fun. But this one is a little bit more toned down. Green and pink. Very gardeny, which is why it's called Urban Garden, because it's very gardeny. The corner of this brush. Like I said, I like a wide brush usually, and I like how this wide brush is helping me spread the glitters out, but it's really not doing me any favors up near the cuticle area because it doesn't have rounded corners. Rounded wide brush with round corners is better because it can fit up into the cuticle without so much twisting and turning of the wrist. But we're making it work. It's not like horrible. It just means I have to do this more often and get stuff off my skin, or go back in with the little brush and get any curves that didn't curve properly. Did you see the test sheet, Praise, with the leaves? Were you here yet? I did a bunch of testing when I did the flower one 2 weeks ago, and I was telling Nate that I had a couple of greens that I didn't have room for in that design because I needed to have room for the flowers too. And so I'm going back and doing something similar, but all with leaves instead of with flowers too. And here is the little test sheet that I was using. It's not a sheet, it's a plastic lid from Curry that we got at Costco. Okay. That's looking good. This middle nail has a little bit more black on it than the other ones too. That's funny how that happened evenly by total coincidence. Okay. See, I have not ever done anything that involves this close of detail work on stream before, so I'm wondering how this will work with the camera and how well I'll be able to see around the camera and get you guys at an angle that you can see. So we will try our best and make it as successful as possible. Sorry, I just hit my wrist against the camera stand. Okay, and that's a place where I need to get my little brush. which I need to clean off with acetone first because it's got little glitters in it, and that's not going to make it smooth. And then I gotta grab a little bit of polish and go back in here on the edge because I messed up that edge when I was getting the polish off my skin. Okay. All right. There. Now, while we are waiting for the base color to dry, we're going to do a little bit of refresher on the way that I was making some of these leaves because it's been a couple of weeks and I want to remind myself and get my muscle memory back in play before I start to do it on my nails. So we were using this one. Oh, I need to get my little brushes. Okay, we had this very, 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 very skinny no brand striper brush that I was using quite often. And then we were also using, well, I was using this other berry wine brush from Winstonia, which is almost as thin but not quite. And then I was using I didn't use this one last time because I ended up not using the, sorry, that's off camera. I didn't end up making the leaves that I had been using this one for, but I think that that's the one that I was using. And then I had a little bit of a blunter, shorter brush that I chopped off that I was using for some of the rounder leaves. Pardon me, I just shook you guys again. This one, which is also brandless. The only one that had a brand was the berry wine one. This has been through a lot of polish that got stuck on the handle, and then the handle slightly melted with acetone and all kinds of ugly stuff. So please ignore that. The condition of the handle. Okay, so let's get out some of this darker green. I was using this with the sort of berry wine brush. I might have been using the other berry wine brush. I know I had both of them out. And then I was doing kind of a daub and lift sort of a thing where I got the brush in here and then I did like a little daub and lift. Oh no, be careful, Gloria. Don't touch the nails that are wet. Give me a second. I had these two fingers too close to each other and I needed to make sure that didn't get messed up. Okay, so you get not a dot of polish on the brush, but a little swoop of polish on the brush. And then I was kind of just dotting like that and lifting to create the leaf shape. And then doing that on both sides, obviously. And then one at the tip, and then the thin stem down through like that. Okay, to get those little dark green ones. So I think I'm remembering how to do those ones pretty well. Obviously you can make them slightly bigger than that or slightly more curved than that or whatever, but okay, so I remember that. And then the green ones, I was using the longer green ones. I was using this really thin liner brush with Zoya Arbor. That first color was Society Wit, Take Me Home Country Roads. And then this is Zoya Arbor. So I was using this really thin brush, kind of getting a thicker amount of paint on it. Not so that it's dripping, but just so it's coated with paint. Can you see that? How it's got paint on it? Thicker. And then kind of just running the brush through, making sure it's evenly coated. And then I was doing like a swoop this way and then a swoop like that. And then filling in the center of the leaf. And then further up doing another swoop, swoop, and then filling it in. And doing several of those. This base is lumpy because it's got other polish underneath. Several of those up along the edge. And then if the other side showed, you know, doing the paralleling mirrored leaf on each side on the other side as well. And then drag down through the middle. So I know how to do that one. And then I was working on some more fuller, I think I was using this other berry wine brush, with this lighter green, green thumb from Sally Hansen. And what I had been doing with this one was a little bit more of a, trying to remember what exactly I had decided I wanted with this one best. I think I ended up with kind of more rounder leaves, more like what you'd see next to a rose. And then I was going to go in and add possibly a darker center to them. I don't think that's in focus because I went further away. Sorry, guys. There. So like having a leaf and then having another leaf. And then up here having a third leaf. And then having them kind of be a little leaf unit, if that makes sense. And then going this way and having, you know, kind of more leaves along that same stem. That's kind of large for a nail. But then I also had some of these other more blue-greens. I had Society Wit Topiary out, and I was using that with, I was trying to do a rounded sort of a eucalyptus leaf look. I didn't fully succeed, so I need to do a little bit of experimenting with this to decide how best to do it. So I'm going to use a little stubby brush, and I'm going to do daub, 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 daub. And then that is a little bit too even. Let's see if I alternate. That feels more organic to me. Yeah, but I wouldn't want it to be... there's something about the leaves turning that I'm not getting. Because some of the leaves look sideways more than others in real life. Let me look at my reference. Yeah, okay. So we need to get some that look more sideways. And some... I kind of like that. Like going like that. Toward the center. If I do... kind of more like that. That gives a different texture of the greenery. I think I like that. I might end up not even doing a center stem on those ones. Just kind of leaving the leaves. You can't see the contrast in the background there, I'm sorry. I'm just trying not to waste another tray. And then I wanted a lighter kind of a green in there too. And I was trying to decide if I liked Zoya Satin for that or if I liked Bevan, which is actually not a green. It's more teal. A lot of people call it a green, but they are wrong. It's not a green. It's too blue. But I was thinking of something kind of thinner and more this one, Zoya Sage, is a satin polish, so it will be matte looking until it gets top coat on it. But I was thinking of more of like this kind of thinner, leafy sort of a thing, but the only trouble with that is getting it to look natural and not man filled in. Something about the placement of the splurps needs splurps, and by splurps I mean leaves. The leaves that kind of curl off and around and separately, they need to overlap sometimes to create a more natural layout, but I need to look at the reference when I'm doing this because I'm not doing it well. Okay. Let's try that again. Another difficulty with the satin polish is that it dries a little faster. So it's harder to work with if you're painting not just directly on your nail. Let's get a little swatch down of our base color so we can kind of get an idea of what we're thinking, like layout wise. Not too much bigger than my nail. Maybe like a thumbnail size. I'm just gonna splodge it on and let it dry. But in the meanwhile, I'm gonna take a drink while I wait for that to dry. I've got some juice over here. What are you up to today, you guys? You know, I slept in today too, which was something I tend to do on Sundays because I usually go to church on Sunday night or Saturday night, so I can let myself sleep in on Sunday morning. It's a nice feeling to not have to hurry off and be anywhere. One of the greens that I use a lot for leaf stuff is Moonshine Manny, Weeping Willow, and another one is Color Club. It has something to do with time, like Thyme, Just in Time, or Time and Time Again, or those are both, I think, different polishes that aren't the one I'm thinking of. Oh no, that's a different polish entirely. This is actually the first Crelly polish I ever had, that I ever wore. It's called In the Mix, and it's a green with black speckles, very Easter egg sort of a feel. This one, It's About Time. And I use this one a lot. It might be a good one to add, actually. I don't have anything that's this light and this. Yeah. Wow, there's a reason I love it. There's a reason I love it. And then the Weeping Willow color, I don't think I have within arm's reach. I have to stand up for a second. Try not to blang into the camera. Is this color? It's got a shimmer in it, but the shimmer, when I do leaves, doesn't usually show up too much. But it's a darker kind of a green, with a little bit more blue, but not a lot of blue compared to some of the other ones. Alright, so we have, let's just get the colors I'm thinking about next to each other. We've got the Take Me Home Country Roads color, which is dark. The other one that I had used for the stem in the previous design was Susie the First Lady of Nails, which is also dark but not quite as dark. Then this one is Moonshine Manny Weeping Willow, which is more blue toned. The shimmer is suspending in it better than it has in the past, probably because I used it more recently and shook it more recently. And then Society Wit Topiary, which is definitely the most blue toned of the darker colors. Oh, I have autofocus on. Let's not do that. Sorry. There. And then Green Thumb, which is a little bit more vibrantly green. This is a thinner color, though. It's not as easy to get opaque. So I might have to nix that one potentially. This is Thyme and it's About Time, which is got a little bit more white in it and a little lighter. This is Zoya Arbor, which again is more green toned. And then we've got Zoya Sage, which is definitely more grayed out and leaning in the blue direction. And then Bevan, which was the more not actually green, but teal sort of leaning color, which could still be good for something like a eucalyptus leaf. So there's the colors that we're thinking about. I am considering taking Zoya Sage out because of it's just too difficult to work with it drying satin. It dries faster and it's kind of annoying. So then it would be, I need the dark, so I am definitely going to use the Society Wit color for contrast. I like having this Moonshine Manny color, except the shimmer is there more strongly than it usually is, so I'm not sure. But I love the color of green of it, so probably going to end up with that. I want to include the bluer toned green, possibly, if I can, to add more variety. I know I want to use Arbor because I liked the longer leaves with it. This Green Thumb color, I'm thinking I might leave out because it also is harder to get opaque. So this one and this one and this one and this one, not that one. and then maybe this one. So let's put those out next to each other again. It's about time. Topiary. Arbor. I closed this one and this one. Weeping Willow. And Take Me Home Country Roads. Okay. I'm thinking that's going to be our palette. Yeah. So then is this dry enough? Yes. Okay, so let's test out the order of things. I know I want the darker green Take Me Home Country Roads to be near the bottom. So let's do a little leaf. With that first. Okay, and then maybe a little bit of one over here on the other side. It's still not completely dry over here, so I have to be careful not to drag the base color. Okay, and then let's get Moonshine Manny out. What kind of leaf do I want to do with that color? We hadn't talked about that. Let's do a more elongated leaf. Since we took out the green thumb color. Sorry, that's not in focus. Let me change the focus. There. And then I know that Zoya Arbor is going to be those longer stems, longer leaves. And I'm running into trouble of not having enough room for all these colors again. I might have to narrow it down to fewer than 5. Oh, Well, that was not correct of me. I just covered up my little test area. I put it in the wrong patch of Arbor. Oh well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to narrow this down a little bit more. I think I'm gonna take out the Moonshine Manny color, even though I love it, because I do already have a darker green. And it has a shimmer, so it doesn't feel quite as cohesive. And then I'm gonna do these four. And that gives us some good variety for the greens, those four together. Let's start doing stuff on the actual nail. We're going to start with the darkest green. I'm going to get a fresher palette so that I'm not reactivating thicker polish underneath there. Okay, so let's get this back into where we want it to be. I'm going to be pretty close to my nail. I'm going to be probably here, so we need to have that be in focus. Right there. Okay, so here is this. I think I need to go over instead of under for the camera stand. Okay, we're going to go... And very thin stem. Okay, there's our first little leaf. Next nail, same leaf. Whoa! I dangerously got very close to my pinky nail with this green. Oh, I did actually get a little on there. It's a good thing I can get it off. Okay, so then the next nail, we're gonna go on the other side. We're gonna vary the placement of these leaves so they're not the same on every nail. Is that in frame? No, it's too high. Okay, and then the stem. It's like Bob Ross says, if you don't make the noises, it doesn't work. I need to bring this where I can reach it better. Are you just getting at me for running into the wrong nail? Get some more. We're going to come at this one from this angle. Is that on camera? Yes, but it's so bright. Wow. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and then this one coming this way. That is. Yes, exactly. You just gotta sometimes. You gotta make the noises. I need these leaves on that side to be a little bit more distinct. They're kind of running into each other a little bit, so I'm actually gonna push. Hang on just a second. That area is going to be an area that I go over with another leaf, I think, to help. But that looks okay. That looks all right. And then on this side, we're going to go, which way should we go? Back to the same way we did on the thumb, where it's going up this side of the nail. Is that in frame? Yes, again, but it's so bright. Stop doing that. Okay. So then we're going to go switch over to the other hand and get a new fresh blob of polish. All right, let's see how this hand works the best. We might have to rotate the camera more. I definitely want to change this light, though. It's trying to take over everything. Goodness. I might have to bring this down and then bring this up so that I can get it underneath. Yeah, there, that's okay. But then, yeah, we'll see if that works. Is that still in focus? Relatively. Okay. So we're kind of come at this one from this angle. Really keeping them all different as much as we can. Stem. Okay. And then this side, we're going to do over here. Gotta get more polish on my brush. Dab, dab, dab. Okay, and then this one coming up on this side. I gotta keep them looking balanced. I don't want the sizes to be such different shapes that it's not recognizable as part of the same little leafy plant structure. I'm sorry, I don't think that was on camera. The angles for this on camera is a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's see. I'm keeping the sides of the nails the same, but I'm trying to change the direction that they're going so that there's consistent variance between the hands. And normally I'd be a little closer to my face for this. I'd be like right here. Like right there. But I think it's coming along okie dokie. Not too bad. it's not quite as even as it would be if I was a little closer. So then this nail needs to be this side going that way. And I need more polish because this is getting too dry. Okay. The focus there is a little bit too low. Where was I? Like here? There. Now you can see it better. All the way down. Okay. I give myself a B. Maybe a C+ for that round of leaves. Alright, let's do the next one. I know that I want this, but I don't want it to be the most prominent color. So I'm going to do this next. And keep it a little bit slightly more background. Let's use this same brush actually and see if we can get I'm going to go the other direction. Some more rounded looking little dudes. Okay, and then that one's coming up, so this one's coming down. Okay, and then this one, we're going to kind of angle a little more because we don't want it to feel all up and down. I'm sorry about that light. I wish it would not do that. And I've already tried adjusting it in the exposure levels, and if I just bring the exposure down, it makes everything too gray and weird. And then we'll do okay, so down, 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 up. I guess this one's also going to be up. And I think we'll have to run him off the nail. Okay. The thumb is not yet looking layered. The thumb looks kind of empty, but the other ones are starting to get the mood. Alright, let's get some more out. First hand number 2. And I guess we're gonna go, let's go up on this side. I don't think the focus is quite right. Okay. And then we went down on that one, so we're going to go up on this one. Let's go up this way. Sorry, I'm concentrating. And I'm not doing quite so much talking, hey. The nice thing about leaves is that they're organic, and if they're not perfectly shaped, you know, it's because they're leaves. And because I wasn't trying to get them quite so perfectly shaped. But of course, I do want them to look like leaves. So you can't rely entirely on that. You want them to be recognizable. Okay, so that one went down, so that one's also going to go up. I'm going to angle it. Sorry, I'm checking. This needs to be taller. Okay, and then this one is coming up, so that one's going to go down. For some reason, I just started thinking about old cell phones and how it used to be the trend to make everything smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then they changed tack, and then suddenly everything was about wanting a bigger screen so you could watch things better. Okay, so that one is going up. That means this one's going down. And we're going to angle it this way. For variety. And of course, we're allowing overlap. If we didn't allow overlap, this would not look natural or cool. It would just look more geometric, and I guess it could look cool, but that's not what I'm going for. Okay. There. That was not on camera. I apologize. I'll really make sure this brush is clean because I'm switching colors now. And I actually am not using that brush for the next color, and I don't want the polish to dry all in the bristles and get all gross and gooky. Alright, so we're going to be using this super thin brush for our Arbor leaves. And we're going to be painting this hand first. These ones are longer and more the way that they connect to each other is less I don't know. They don't feel quite as I don't know, they're a little more grassy, if that makes sense. A little bit of a softer texture to the leaf, less flat and papery like a eucalyptus leaf is, and more juicy. Okay. Sorry about the light again. Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so then for this one, we're gonna go kind of across like that. let's do this so you can see better. That's too much polish. The struggle. Too much polish, not enough polish, too much polish, not enough polish. If you have too much polish, it's hard to control the shape of the leaf because it gets all blobular. And if you don't have enough polish, then you have to go back and get more before you can fill in the shape, and that's annoying. But slightly more advantageous on a whole, I think. Okay. Cirque just came out with some really nice greens that I'm interested in. There's one that they're calling a pickle green. Of course, an olive green as well. And then there's like an ochre color that's, some people are calling it a green and some people are calling it a yellow, and I don't know where I fall on that spectrum because I haven't seen it in person, but it is, looks pretty. It's like a muted sort of a yellowy green. I still don't have the right light yellowish green to complete my ombre that I want to do so badly, that I've been wanting to do so badly for forever. It needs to be just a little bit different than all the other ones that I have tried. Okay, so that one went up, that one went down. Let's go up for this one. Add some variance to the angle of the leaves on that nail because both of them are going down so far. We'll go like that. And then I think there's a little hair in there, but it got buried in the polish and it's not going to show, so I don't care. A little cat hair. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Sorry, that was out of frame. I was checking my balance between the nails and deciding if I wanted to add another leaf to that or if I just wanted to let it be. I think I'm just going to let it be. It doesn't have to have the same number of frondy things as the other nail. Okay, this nail we're going to go down at that angle. Oops, too much polish. And we're gonna do a leaf that goes this way. And a leaf that goes that way. That leaf's gonna need to have the last color go over it because it got really wonky because of the blue under it. That one had just the right amount of polish on the brush. It was a joy to paint. That's Bob Ross's whole show, the joy of painting. Sorry. There it is up closer. Doing up close designs like this is harder to stay on camera. And I know I've already apologized for it, but I apologize again. I think we have diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Let's diagonal it that way as well. But we'll go up. That way. Oh, I need to tilt. Sorry. Putting the camera where my hand wants to be rather than trying to put my hand in the camera. Okay. I still don't know exactly how I want to do the last color. We'll see. We're still finishing this color on the other hand, though. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, that one we went up, so this one, let's go down. Gosh, I want that to not do that. How about you don't do that? There. The tip of this brush, do you see how it's starting to want to curve? I need to straighten it out again before I do my next stroke. It's trying to flip upward a little bit. Another leaf. That's like this whole stream. Another leaf and another leaf and another leaf. Leaves are pretty. I got up into the ferrule of my brush. That's not good. I gotta clean it out because it's gonna hold too much polish up there, and then it's gonna drip down along the stem of my brush when I don't want it to. And you know, some people are like, how do you paint these things? And I'm just like, very carefully, which is what my dad always used to say when I asked him how he did things when I was growing up. But sometimes that's the only answer. You do it very carefully. There isn't like a trick to it. It's just doing it. And there are like some things that you can say that could be helpful for like adjusting like the way you're holding the brush or whatever. No, I hate the cabins. The cabins are the worst. Every time Bob Ross puts a cabin in his painting, I say ruined, and I don't say saved. Okay, that one went down, which means this one's going up. Let's also go... What angle did we have? Yeah, that's what I thought. So we'll go this way. There. Yes, 0.62%. Not even. Smaller than that. Smaller than that. I would say 0% chance of happy little cabin on my nails. There's a gal that is in the nail art community, and I think 25 Sweet Peas is her username. And she did a whole, like, 12 Days of Christmas or Advent something. Maybe it was the whole month of December. I don't remember. She did a bunch of nail art around Christmas time, and one of them was a little snow-covered cabin. And it made me think of Bob Ross. And, I mean, yes, she did a good job with the design, but I would never replicate it. My friend Colette does the 12 Days of Christmas every year for nail art, too. And then at the end, she does as close as she can to those designs in decorating her Christmas cookies, which is cute. That's not on camera. I'm sorry. Let's tilt this because I'm going to want to be over here. Okay. I need to stretch. Hang on. Oh, my back cracked. Very good. An effective stretch. Okay. So then this one is coming up, which means that one's coming down, and it's going to come at this angle. Wait a minute. It's coming down at this angle. You can see the camera bar here. I'm working around it. It's workable, but it's definitely not as intuitive as just painting without the camera. So thank you guys for hanging out with me while I do this. Making the camera feel like it's actually having a purpose. Okay. That leaf just wants to be a little bit fatter than everybody else. Sorry, that was a little out of frame. And all right. Oops. I'm literally this close to the camera. Trying to see around it. I bumped my glasses up into it. Alright, so that one is going down, and that one's going up, and that one's going down, so that one's going up, and it's going to go at that angle. Okay, so it's going up at... Phew! Did you guys see that? I dropped my palette, and it landed face down on my chair, but I didn't get any polish on my chair. I did, however, in my attempt to catch it, get some polish on this cord. So let's clean that off. Because my brush ran into it. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I just wasn't, I was doing this to try to check my angle. Because I'm trying to get them to be balanced. So I don't want everything going the same direction. So this one is going up, which means this one's going down, but it's coming at that same angle. Yeah. Okay, so I need to get more polish. We said I'm going up or down? Up. Okay. Okay. You're kind of like scooping one edge of the leaf in and then the other edge of the leaf and then filling it in. So you're doing like, oh, it splayed at the end. So let me try again. Get it. Roll it in the paint to get a nice fine point. Thank you, Bob Ross. So you're basically doing one side of the leaf, and then you're coming in and doing the other side of the leaf, and sometimes that fills it in already. But sometimes you have to go back and fill in the rest. One side of the leaf, the other side of the leaf, fill it in. Make sure that the end is pointed properly. There's a bubble or something on the stem there that I did not want to stay, so I had to fill it in. Okay. And then the end of that's a leaf. Okay, and then this one is going to be coming down, but it's going to be coming at this angle. Ooh, too much polish at this angle. And then the last color on the pinky is obviously going to have to go in the opposite direction because there aren't any other leaves that are going the opposite direction yet on that nail. And we want to be able to include one or two that are doing so. I haven't decided if I am going to do more than one leaf of the last color, maybe coming in from the edges, or if I'm just going to do one of the last color like I have been doing for the other colors first. We'll have to see. I also need to decide what style of leaf I want for my last leaf. If I come in from the edges, I can do like a 2 or a 3. But I think I am actually going to do a little bit of painting on the palette to figure out what leaf I want before I do it on my nail. Because I don't want to ruin all the work I've already done. I want to elongate this leaf. I don't feel like it's long enough to warrant not having another set of leaves above it. And I already decided I'm not. There, that's better. Okay, so there's that. So let's change our focus on our camera down here. And we're going to do a little bit of testing with the It's About Time color. I feel like I might want to go in with some dots of some of the other colors, like the dark and the bluer color around other parts of the nail to make it feel a little more balanced too. We'll see. Okay, let's do this brush. I don't like the three together. Unless I were able to separate it more. So let's get a thinner. Ooh, I like that. Leaving the center unfilled. I might do that. Let's do another couple of tests. If I do 2 together, but I leave the center unfilled, and then I do 1. I could get the same effect. There's not going to be a consistent color underneath, though, is the thing. Let's do it over here and see if I like it over multiple colors. Yeah, I do. I'm going to do that. And I am going to go from 2 sides, I think. So let's do, okay, back to the hand. There. We're going to do a set of 2 over here. And we're going to do 1 on the bottom as well. There. Okay, next nail. We're going to come from this side. Because I want to leave some of the base color still visible. And I feel like if I make these solid leaves, we're going to lose some of that. And also I like seeing some of the green showing through in between there. I like that visually as a textural thing. So then we're going to do another one on this side. And I gotta be careful to keep my bristles together, otherwise I'm gonna smear something in the center there that I don't want to. Okay. Looking very leafy. Okay, so same thing here on this nail. I think I'm gonna do the 2 coming from the bottom this time. then one at the top.
Is yours?
What? Yeah, thank you. I did not realize it had fallen. Okay, and then this one from this corner. Yeah, I like that. And then I like it when it has the white in the middle better, though, personally. Okay, so then we're gonna do two over here and one down here. Are you still hungry? I'm starting to get hungry. Okay. Pinky has a little bit less white showing because it's smaller, and the thumb has a little bit more white showing because it's bigger, but overall I feel like that's pretty even. Let's make sure we're not getting a fuzzy in there. Okay, stretch again. And then last color on the last hand, and then we just do cleanup and top coat. This is a pretty quick design, actually. I'm surprised at how quickly it's going. Okay, so this we want two coming up from the bottom. Make sure that you actually get enough polish on the line to make it opaque in that pass. And then one coming from the top up here. Okay. I'm liking how those are looking too. I'm debating. No, I think it's okay. I was thinking about those dots that I had been considering, and I don't think I need them, especially on like the pinky and stuff. It's got plenty of coverage, and the thumb, I like the space that it has. It doesn't feel like it's too much. So this side is gonna go on this side, and it's gonna get one from the top. I think I'm actually gonna do two from the top. the placement of the leaves is going to be informed more than the number of the leaves, I think, for this top layer. Maybe. We'll see. Actually, I might just do one on that side and then two from the bottom. Sorry, I'm too far away. Okay, so then on this nail, I'm coming on this side with two. And there's the second one. And one coming up from this side. There. Making sure we got good outlining going on there. On my ring nail, I don't even know if I'm on camera. I think I'm not because I angled it and I forgot to put it back. We're gonna get two from the bottom. There's the second one. There we go. That's better. That line didn't want to curve properly. And then on this side, we get one. Coming down that way. And then on this nail, this side is just getting one and that side's getting two. But I definitely want to make sure that I get this part of this leaf that I smudged covered with the one that I do on this side. There. Very nice. And then the two coming up from the cuticle. There's one. It's not quite pointy enough on the end, but if I point it too much, I'm going to run into the other one, so I gotta be careful. There, that's okay. And 2. This needs to curve out a little bit more to give me the fully round leaf feel that I'm looking for. There. That's better. Okay. Now we do cleanup. And then we do top coat. I'm pretty happy with these. I feel like the top coat will help the greens stand out from one another a little better than they are right now. So let's put the little brushes away. And let's get this into a better position for cleanup. Let me get a drink. I must do cleanup. First, let's close our polishes too. We don't want them to be drying out. All right. So, oh gosh. I do need a little bit more of that other color. I think I still have some out that's wet because I just smudged it a little bit and I need to smooth that line out before I top coat it right there. Sorry, little leaf. I was thirsty. I needed a drink with my teacup. That polish is starting to dry out a little bit, though. You can see it's starting to get stringy. But it's enough, I think, that I don't need to reopen the bottle if I'm careful. There. All better. Don't be dropping things. Okay. So then, gosh, that one's dry enough that I didn't mess it up, thankfully. This cord thing is kind of a pain. All right, so let's do a little bit of light adjustment there, and let's do some cleanup. We're just going around the edge, making sure we don't have any polish on our skin before we top coat. Most of these nails are pretty good around the edge of the cuticle because I was being careful while I was applying and getting a bunch of the excess polish off as I went, but there's some green stragglers, you know, right around the edges. And other just dry bits of polish that have decided that they wanted to stick onto my side walls from the nail because my side walls are kind of tall, or like a stray mark of a brush. Stuff like that. I think I might go over that cuticle area with a little bit of this because there's 2 glitters there. I can't remove the glitters with just my little cleanup brush because they're going too far into the polish, and I removed some of the white color from around the glitter, so now the edge looks uneven, so I'm gonna just re-smooth that line. looks more even again. There. That's better. And then making these matte also, like I said, the top coat, I was referring mostly to the matte top coat. Regular top coat does help to distinguish some colors too, but I'm planning on making these matte, and that whenever there's no shine, there's that other fuzz that I saw earlier. There we go, I got it. I'm going to top coat this hand with regular top coat before we do cleanup on the other hand. So I'm going to use, what am I going to use today? How lumpy are we? Pretty lumpy. So I want my Glisten Glow top coat. Let's top it off with some fresh before we apply. I like to let it flow down the stem of the brush while I'm doing this so that the brush isn't drying out and so that it's directing the polish into the bottle. All right. We're not going to be too worried about getting everything 100% smoothed out with regular top coat because we are adding matte top coat over the top, and the Glisten Glow top coat is a thick enough top coat that you see how that's pretty smooth even with just the one coat. And you see how it makes the colors stand out a little bit better from one another, especially for those last two greens, the cooler toned and the warmer toned ones. But I also don't want it to dry in my cuticle, so let's make sure we get any over polished areas before it starts to set. Okay, second nail. Sorry, I know I just bumped the camera cord. I don't think I was on camera, I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to this and trying to figure out what angles are best. Making sure there aren't any hairs in there. I overfilled my bottle slightly, so there's too much polish on the stem of my brush, and it's dripping on my hand. Right there. It's starting to get warm here again. It was really nice for several months, and now it's starting to get warm again. I know most people in most parts of the country are like, yay, it's finally starting to be warm again. I'm like, ugh, it's finally starting to be warm again. Oh, hi, Praise. Welcome back. I don't think I saw where you were off to. Where did you go? Did I miss that? How did I miss that? Oh. Okay. Well, we are top coating this hand before we do cleanup on the other hand. And then we will do matte top coat on everybody. After I top coat this hand, I'll show you what we were doing. Were you lurking while you were out there, or did you just miss a whole bunch? Oh, that's funny. Well, partway through, I thanked you guys for keeping me company so that it makes it feel like it's worth it to have this annoying camera cord thing stand in my way to get the camera in the right spot. So I appreciate that. Super lurking, yes. I've got some other lurkers, I think, too. So, nothing wrong with that. I don't mind anybody lurking. Actually, that's fine. Hang on. I gotta bring this closer to my face just for a second. Okay. So there's that hand, all top coated. It hasn't fully gotten as smooth as it will. As the top coat dries, it kind of tightens and pulls things flatter. I need to stretch again. My back cracked again. Okay. Let's do top coat on the other hand. I think I'm gonna do top coat above, but oh no, we can't do top coat. We have to clean up still. Let's get our polish brush. I'm sorry, I'm banging into the camera again. Because I know I'm gonna need to turn my wrist this way, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that if I'm underneath. And there's that. Thank you, Praise. Nate, you said that you were going to be reading or were reading, and then there were none. I was sent the notification yesterday that it is available, and so I checked it out, but I'm finishing the one that I was almost done with first. I only have, I think, like a half an hour left on the audiobook for the one that I'm in the middle of right now, and then I'll listen to it. I'll let you know if I like it, but I won't spoil it for you. That's the one I'm in right now is Appointment with Death. I think it's another Agatha Christie. I'm on an Agatha Christie kick. But the whole first part of the book was interesting because even though it's a Poirot book, it's not from his perspective at the beginning. It's from the perspective of several other people for the whole first part. She had one book that I listened to / read, the what's it called? Lord something dies. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that one had a kind of a Sherlock Holmes-esque vibe where it's a guy who's friends with Poirot and everything's from that guy's perspective. So even though I've been reading several of them, they're all kind of different. In like the narration tone. Okay. Sorry. About the being slightly too close. I wish the autofocus would work better. That's why I'm sad that it doesn't, because I tend to move in closer and then move farther away and then move in closer and then move farther away, and it's a nuisance to have to go and change the focus every time I shift position, like between fingers, you know. I do too. That one. See, how many have I read now? Well, I read the Murder on the Orient Express, and then I read a Miss Marple one called Body in the Library. None of the other Miss Marples have been available from the library for the time that I've been looking at her stuff. And then after that, I did the Lord What's-His-Face Dies, and then I did the one where Shaitana, the character Shaitana dies. I don't remember what that one's called. And then I did one called Halloween, or Halloween, the Halloween Party, I think. And then now I'm in Appointment with Death. And then next will be And Then There Were None. I enjoy her writing pretty well. There's obviously some things that are kind of dated in the dialogue and stuff, but it's supposed to be a period. You know, if you understand what period it's in, I think that all of her choices there are appropriate to the time. Like, we would never hear someone say that now, but it doesn't sound unnatural in the context. I want to read some more of the Miss Marple ones, because since I know she does such a different tone with all the Poirot books, I'm wondering if she does a different tone with all of the Miss Marple books. And the character is different. You know, Poirot is all about the deduction and noticing of facts, and he's all about psychologically analyzing what he thinks people would want to do or would be capable of doing. And then Miss Marple's all about recognizing similarities in people's behavior. So also psychologically based, but in a different way. Hers is more like, oh yeah, I knew someone who her servant reacted this way when they found out that they were being accused of something, and so when I saw this person reacting this way, I knew that they felt like they were being accused and that they were feeling guilty, and so it's more anecdotal, kind of, but it's a similar tone of like a thought process. There's a bubble. And a stray glitter. Go away. There. Alright. And then the pinky. Hang on. Let me just stretch again. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I gotta let that hand dry. So what I'm gonna do is put matte top coat on this hand and then do cleanup for the top coat on this hand. And then we'll go and do the same on the second hand. But I think they look pretty leafy. And I'm pretty happy. Okay. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I realized I'm not in frame. Okay. Let's it up again a little bit. My neighbor's music is really irritating. It's going underneath me. You see how the mat makes it here. You see how the mat makes the greens stand out from one another more. Come on. There. Yes. I'm getting rid of the matte top coat on my skin because I went a little over on the edges to really make sure that everything was sealed in, and then now I'm removing the excess. Okay. Finger number 2. Finger 3. I'm too close, so I'm not in focus. Sorry. And then, of course, after I'm done, I wash my hands, and that gets rid of any last little sticky bits of top coat that I didn't fully remove with my brush. Well, I like underneath the edge of the nail and stuff. Okay. There we go. All cleaned up, all matte. I'll bring you guys in for a closer look in a second after I do my other hand. And by in a second, I mean in a couple of minutes. I need another stretch. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with that. Obviously, there's things I could improve. There's always things that I could improve. But I like that. Okay, let's do matte on the second hand. We can close this actually. We don't want that drying out, the regular top coat. This is the Glisten Glow top coat. The label just got ripped off. It's my favorite thicker top coat that helps smooth out uneven designs. I need to angle the camera differently. I apologize. I haven't sung the praises of this matte top coat yet today, but I really do love it. There, that's a little bit better on the brightness. For the nails anyway, it might have just washed out my face, but who cares? You're here to see the nails, not my face. I will be the first to admit that I am a messy top coat painter. I'd rather clean up the top coat than miss an edge, because I have had too many experiences, not with these particular products, but with other products shrinking from the edge of the nail, and I'd rather not risk it. I'd rather just do cleanup again. Because shrinkage is so hard to fix without it looking like you fixed it. It's not a good look. Okay. And that's that. Let's let that sit for just a second and set a little bit before I start cleaning up. We don't want it to be too wet, because then it can disturb the layers of polish beneath. So while we're waiting for that, we'll just sit here and look at things. Oh, while we're waiting for that, I'll bring you in close on this hand and change the lighting for it. There. It still has a very slight bump on a couple of nails, but I know from my experience with these products that as they completely and fully set, that will go away. It hasn't had enough time to fully set. I love leaves. And of course, my dry cuticles will get moisturized after I am done as well. Okay, I think the thumb is dry enough to start cleanup on. We're going to be right around here, so let's set the focus. Yeah. And that base color, despite being super cool, doesn't really show through all that much, but it does have just enough texture to it that it adds some interest in the background. It's not just a plain white. If anybody's curious, the brush I'm using to clean up with is the e.l.f. concealer brush, I think. The little rounded one that costs $1. They do get kind of flared out after several manicures of, like, maybe 5 or 6 manicures of cleanup on the edges. They get some stray hairs starting to peek out on the edges, but you can trim those off and then keep using it for quite a while. And then eventually you'll have to replace it, but it's only $1. So that's not too onerous. There's an sorry, I'm a little bit out of focus. Too far away. One of my favorite things about this matte top coat is it doesn't get those weird white bits in it like a lot of matte top coats do. Those are particles of dry top coat that have gotten in the top coat somehow, like from the edge of the bottle maybe, when you wipe off your brush, and then it kind of gets back on the brush again the next time you wipe. This top coat does not do that. This is the same bottle that I refilled with the refill of the Truly Madly Deeply. And I didn't clean off the neck of the bottle between refilling it and now, and I still don't have any white anything, and there's no sign of any white anything. It just makes me much happier than any other matte top coat I've ever used. And it dries faster. I don't remember who asked me. I think it might have been Mrs. Shrado on Colette's Discord, why I buffed my nails matte a lot last year instead of using a matte top coat. And that was before I had discovered this matte top coat. And I told her that it was because it just, I mean, all the other matte top coats I would use, they wouldn't dry quickly. So I would put on my quick dry top coat for the color underneath, but then when I would put on my regular matte top coat over the top of that, that kind of like softened everything again under it and then didn't dry quickly. And that was annoying. And also it would shrink from the edges. Several different brands of matte top coats that I tried would do that. And it would make the wear time less on the polish. It would chip faster and flake off the edges more quickly, and it just makes it more crumbly, sort of a feeling, which is not what you want. You don't want your nail polish to feel crumbly. I got a brush stroke in the matte, so I got to daub enough on there that it'll settle smooth. And I don't know, they looked very nice and I liked the look of matte, but then the actual matte top coats were really annoying, and so I started using a little buffer block like this, which has been used half to death and needs to be thrown away because look at all the lifting that the edges are having. I would use one of these softy blocks to buff my nails matte, and that worked really well, but it didn't make it quite as matte. And you had to wait for your top coat to fully dry before you could do that. Otherwise, you would obviously ruin everything. So you couldn't get it matte right away. You'd have to like go and sit and do something else and then come back and finish it. So then when I found this matte top coat, I ordered it from Polish Pickup to try it out because I didn't have to pay extra shipping, you know, or whatever for it. It was just like, why not? I'd heard good things about it from other people. and it became better and easier because it dries quickly and doesn't get the little white speckles and doesn't make everything under it feel crumbly and just is good. And I don't know, I wish people when they were talking about things they liked would say why they liked them more, because I heard a lot of people saying, oh, this is the best matte top coat, but why is it the best matte top coat? Because of all the reasons I just listed. Okay, I think that that's done. So let's do a close-up on this hand as well. We've got focus, please. Focus, please. There we go. There's that hand. And the thumb. Both thumbs together. Yay! Alright, I'm not going to do cuticle oil and all of that on stream. So we are done for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me again. I appreciate it. Make sure that's closed. Yes, alright. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Let me see if there's anybody I want to host. Let me go check on the internet. Bye, Nate. Thanks for the love, praise. Let me see if there's anybody I want to host. Looking at my dashboard. Well, not my dashboard, my home page. Come on. The only person that's on right now is Bob Ross. Do you guys want to be hosted over to Bob Ross? Are you interested in that? Because I'm totally chill with hosting Bob Ross. Let's do that. I did that wrong. I pushed the wrong thing. Am I doing that right? I don't remember doing that. Or how to do that. I think I'm doing it wrong. Gosh, now I gotta teach myself and I look like a total noob. How to host on Twitch. It's just host Bob Ross without the exclamation mark. Oh, slash host. I did host slash. Okay. Gosh. There.